All right, guys, thanks for watching my videos. Back on again here. I'm going to show you where we're at today. The last video you've seen, it still had the caps on, had everything on it. Today it does not. So you can see right here, this is what the front of an RV without the caps look like. You can see all the frame railing comes up through it here, but that's what they look like without any of the caps. You come down through here. Of course, I got garbage laying around here. You can see where the old stuff is. That's all been kept just for templates. So when I go to cut the filly on, I've got a template of how it's done. So let me walk you to the back here. Come back here, you can see where this is all just rotted out and just trashed. But you come to the very, very back here. Here's where that back cap used to rest. You can see where it's all dry rotted and rotted up top there. So this is all going to be replaced as well. This is being built. It's probably going to be built better than factory, if I'm being perfectly honest. The way I'm going to do it is along these boxes here, or the skirting as it's called. There's going to be a plastic that goes all the way down this, a hard plastic, and then that'll get screwed to it. And then it'll get urethane right along the edges like it originally had. I've got most of that cleaned off now, so you really can't see it. But it'll get all the urethane on all the edges, new plastic, and then I'll start with the building of the boxes. But in order to do these RVs, you have to take the caps off. Everything is done in it's almost like a sequence here. So you can see where it mounts, screw holes. You can see screws along that edge of that channel, right down through here. You can see how they come through. Right down through here is a screw, another screw, 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 all the way up. Here's the cap after it's been taken off. So the caps are going to get painted gray. The RV's colors being changed. I ended up getting like a really nice gray filly on. So I'm going to spray these caps, clean them up, spray them down, and then change the color of them as well. So the RV's color is going to be gray at this point. It's no longer going to be the old whatever white nasty, cream color. But coming on through here, I've gotten most of the elevator bolts. And an elevator bolt, let me see if I can show you guys one, so you know what an elevator bolt looks like. So if you ever go to search it on Amazon, you know exactly what you're looking for. I think I've pretty much got most of them out. Let me go over this side here. Okay, right here. These are what elevator bolts look like. They're 3/8 wide. They got an 1.25 inch head. It's flat. And then they go down through the frame, right down through here. And let me see if I can get you a picture up under there. Let's see here. I don't know if you can see anything, but that's the elevator bolts. There's one there. And you come back here. There's another one here. There's about 32 elevator bolts that mount this floor down. The floor is 5/8 thick. I'm going with something a little bit thicker. I'm going to go with a 3/4. It's going to add a little bit more weight to the decking. Not a whole lot, but it's just going to be a better quality OSB. Then it's got the locking in, so where it locks into each other, and then you've got a lot more strength when they lock in. You ain't got to worry about them, wherever you got your cut marks. You ain't got to worry too much about where it's, if you walk over it, one spot soft because it's got that cut through it. But that's where I wanted to show everybody today. This is where we're all at. And I mean, we're slowly getting it. I can tell you right now, these are big projects. You come right here, the reason you need to take the caps off, if you look right here, you see all these bolts that come right on down here. These mount your whole frame. In order to put the floor on the right way, your frame has to be off. Because in order to lock them panels, well, I mean, theoretically, you really could do it without taking these side rails off. But honestly, in order to get the plastic behind them, you got to take them off anyway. So that's just an idea if anybody's doing doing their own RV. I found this plastic. It's like a PVC plastic sheeting. It's 1/16 inch thick. What they used originally right here is this old metal garbage. So metal rots, it rusts, as well as keeps it and it creates moisture, and that's what I'm trying to avoid by putting this thing back together. I don't want the moisture, so that plastic will almost act as a moisture barrier, and then it's an exterior type stuff. So that's kind of where we're headed with this. Right here, this used to be a whole step setting. So when you go to take these out, you got screws here, 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 here on both sides, and then this whole thing pulls completely out of there. So if you ever go to take one out, that's how those come out. Continuing on, I'm going to replace these battery boxes. They're not looking too healthy. I'm going to pressure wash all this and then repaint it just to prevent, more as like a corrosion preventative. And then this battery box here, it's going to get a bigger box. I put a bigger battery in it, and that was purposeful. It called for a smaller battery, but I wanted a lot more starting power. Right here, this is your hydraulics, and this would be if you have an automatic leveling system on your RV. This here is, I believe, the transmission cooler. Yeah, that's the transmission cooler. This appears to be an R134A AC system. This is your changeover valve for the coolant. If you need to do anything with your coolant or it's not heating, generally this is where I'd look first. Inside here, got a bunch of breakers, you got a bunch of relays. Let me show you this here real quick. So you take this off. Here's like your whole relay center right here. So that is where most of your fuses are going to go if you have any issues with fuses. That's generally where you're going to find your issue at. So put this thing back on. Come on, quit being a bear. RVs are set up with two control units. So you usually have one battery here, one battery here. One battery powers essentially your hydraulics. And let's see. And then, and then it goes up in here to the distribution box, and then it'll head to the back. This one here powers your starting, anything motor related. So all this is going to change. It's not going to be like this anymore, because this is going to be an RV that's built with like clean energy in mind. So it's going to be a solar type RV. You come back through here, you can see where I've cleaned up all the edges. What we're looking for here when you're doing these is, here's a busted screw or a busted frame bolt. So this is stuff that we're going to grind down. You can see where the wheel awnings fell off. You can see where I busted the weld. I'm just going to re-tack weld it and then fix it that way. Once you put wood into it, it stiffens it right back up anyway, so it doesn't solve any, or it doesn't hurt anything. Coming down, you can see right here in these channels, you can actually see some of the Philion in the old wood. The way it works is on the inside here, on your channel right here, on the inside of that framing, you've got your plastic or whatever you're going to use to create the protection for the wood that Philion is eventually going to rest on, as well as your cabinet mounting system, the wood that's into that mounting system. I may glaze it just with a like a resin of some sort, some fiberglass resin or something, just to protect that wood even more, but I'm not 100% sure on that, because the plastic should be adequate. But I don't want to ever do this again, so that may be what I do. But see, here's some more broken off bolts. These are things that just get grinded down, and that's how you fix them. And coming on down. See right here, this is a pretty good example of what you're usually looking for right here. So right here, you've got your Philion, which is this stuff right here that I'm looking at right here. And then behind that Philion, you generally have some form of wood for mounting that Philion onto. And generally, it's just 4x8 underlayment, commonly known as Luan. So that's what you're going to use. It's just like this right here. And that's how it goes, except in this case, the caps cover it. All this metal will be taken off. These will be cleaned and painted. You're looking at, you can see all these white lines here. All these white lines represent 120 volts. We're going to do away with a lot of the 120 because it's just in this build, it's just not going to be needed anymore. The 120 will power, 3 plugs, and the backup should it need it. If you get like a non-sunny day and you're out in the middle of nowhere with no hookups for anything. But all the pipes were cut off here. I've got to cut that one off there to overlap that floor, and now we're gonna foam these in. When these get put back together, all this is going to get foamed in, so you don't have nothing to worry about with water coming down through it again. Another thing you want to do right along these edges here, all them little nails, just shave them off, get rid of them. You can't have them. What's going in here is going to be whiteboard. I can actually show you real quick. Show you in case anybody's interested. This is what the cap looks like right here. That's your top main cap. These are very, very thin along the walls right here. So when you're taking them off, you need to put some kind of brace. You're going to create unnecessary holes, but it's better than snapping that top off. And if you know how to do fiberglass work, then it's not going to be of any concern to you anyway. But that's your main cap. Come over here. Here's the whiteboard. This is going to be the ceilings. This is what will be all in the interior right here. This here, double jointed together. Those pieces that go along the sides that form that skirt are 1 inch thick. So that's what this is representing. These will get bound together, and then more than likely, like I said, I'm going to resin them, and then that'll take care of a lot of that. You come here, here's the boards that are going back into it. You can see where it's a tongue and groove notched board right here. So it'll go in, it'll create the deck of that floor, and that should be more than adequate at holding everything together. And this cap here is another one of them that represents it's going to get painted that gray as well, just to match the filion. When you come into the garage, my garage is a complete wreck. Let me show you here. Here's all the box mountings. So I haven't decided what I'm going to exactly do with them yet, but this is how your filion will come right here. These big rolls. My RV's 28 feet total. So the rolls represent about $890 some per roll, and that takes care of the filion. This is the new air conditioner that'll be going into it. Right here, these are your windshields. Now I took all the windshields out. The way you get these windshields out, they sit on like this little rubber, and then there's these little round push-in things, and what they do is they put pressure on each side of the window. So you take all of that round roll trim out of the window, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take a razor on that trim or that seal, and you go all the way down, all the way around it, and you're going to get rid of whatever they sealed it with. In my case, it looked like some form of probably polyurethane tape or something. When I put it back together, it's going to be, I'm going to fill that seal with a bunch of polyurethane, and then I'm going to put it in, and then that window should be sealed all the way around all of its edges, and there shouldn't be any further problems. This is all the dash, all the seats. Like I said, my garage is a complete wreck right now. Here's the representation of the top vents and the top of the front of the RV, just like your dashboard, whatever the case may be. All it is vinyl covered wood, 1/2 inch plywood vinyl covered, and that's pretty much the basis of it. I'm just going to rip that old stuff off, cut a new piece of wood, and then recover it with some new headliner of some sort, or some new vinyl or something like that, just to keep it looking nice, or to make it look really good. But this right here, this is wood that represents the roof. This is I believe this is 1/2 inch. What it called for on the roof was Luan. I'm not going to use Luan, just simply because it's super duper thin, and once again, it will add a little more weight to it. But the way I'm designing it, it should take off some of the weight as well, because there's a lot of things that ain't going back into it. But with that said, I hope everybody enjoys my videos. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell to get the latest and greatest updates on this RV build. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll answer them as best I can. With that being said, I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for watching. Bye.